little. Oh. Yeah, it's Ted here, living down to expectations, 47%. Yeah. And today, I'll preach to you. I am going to preach to you. You know why? Because it's all about sex. Shit. Dirt boy. Not really. Alright. I started to say, here's the deal, but I say that all the time, so I didn't say it. So here's the deal. Alright, here's what I'm talking about today. My boy, I love him to death, comes home from school the other day, and I'm sitting there at the computer on the porch where I usually am, and he walks by me and he says, Daddy, he says, girls are weird. And I said, yes, son, I have to agree with you there. Girls are weird. Why do you say that? He said, well, you know, the girls at school today was talking about how some kids wanger, some boys dick is big, and they can tell by looking at his jeans. Could be a sock. Ha. The point is, my boy is 12. He's in middle school, 7th grade. And this, you know, that might be the kind of thing, I have an email. This might be the kind of thing that, you know, girls snicker about in the bathroom at this age, maybe. But in open conversation with boys and girls, you know, out on the campus, talking about shit like this, damn. He told me that the other day we were sitting at the dining table, and he told me about a friend of his who was drawing some kind of thing on the computer at school, and he said, he leaned over, you know, didn't want mama, his sister, he said, he drew a girl in a bikini without the bikini. I said, well, I'm thinking, you know, so why didn't you just say boobs, son? And he said, no, all of it. Great. Shit. You know, around our house, we're not modest. We're not, you know, the kind of people that my family was, man. You never, ever said the S word. Never mention it. Never say boobs. Never say wanger. Never say anything like that. It's all something you keep in a little box. And you don't tell anybody, you know, it's all something dirty and nasty. And we're not that way. We don't tell our kids that. There's a place for sexuality when you love somebody or you care somebody. It's a mutual thing. You know, I ain't going there with that. I'm not a prude. I'm not a religious person. I don't have religious box that we live in, you know. But there is a damn limit. There's a limit. What decided me to go ahead and do this, I've been thinking about. The subject is, I saw an article on Alternate. And I'm looking at it right now. You need to look it up. It says, finding your son's computer porn stash. I would not like doing that. Of course, my son doesn't have a computer, and I don't believe he'd have a porn stash if he had one, because I know my boy. We've kept them from growing up too much. And we sure as hell don't watch it. I don't watch it. It's boring. It's stupid. It's disgusting. And, you know, even on a movie that has a sex scene that we wind up watching, or TV, you know, the television network shows the just differences whether they have clothes on or not. Kids are going, ah! But in this article, it tells about this guy who has a 13-year-old boy, and he found his boy's stash on the computer, and he looked at his web browser and saw all those porno sites on there. And he told his son, now get this, he told his son he needs to have safe sex. It ain't what you think. Nope. He didn't tell his boy not to watch porno. He told his boy to go to websites that were safe so that while you're banging off at these porno pictures, you won't be fucking the computer up too. Parents like that just piss me off. Just let your 13-year-old kid submerge himself in a bunch of pathetic filth. You know, I'm not religious. No, I don't believe in religion. Don't believe in the big guy upstairs. But there is morality. There is virtue, and it is something that comes out of humanity. It's something that says there is a right and there is a wrong, and the right is the thing that's good for people, and the wrong is the thing that's bad for people. That's what Buddha said, and I consider myself a philosophical Buddhist, because Buddha said it right. He said, if it harms yourself or someone else, it's wrong. If it doesn't harm you or someone else, it's not wrong. Now, if you get into Buddhism, there is a moral code. But basically, that's what it boils down to. Don't hurt yourself and don't hurt anybody else. And don't you sit there and tell me that letting a kid watch porno isn't hurting his damn developing brain. In this article, this father told his son, he says, listen, I won't tell your mom, and I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. I love you and I'm proud of you. And here's a couple of websites that has porn on it that won't cause your computer to crash. Damn. Parents like that. Who needs enemies? I don't need the experts to tell me that's not bad for kids. I'm not stupid. You know, and my son comes home and tells me about boys that says they watch porno all the time. One of the kids he did a science fair with last year said he watched porno all the time. Damn. So I'm going to preach to you this morning. I want you to understand a few things. There is a difference between sexuality and obsession. There is a difference between vulgar and sexy, and there's a difference between demeaning and complimentary. Now, there's sexuality. Young kids more than old folks because they're more healthy and they're more driven and they got that urge, you know, to reproduce, and you know, I ain't gonna knock that. I'm not gonna say sex is bad. What I'm going to say is it should never be a goddamn obsession. It should never be an obsession. Never. You should never have that on your mind all the time. I don't care how old you are. No. You know, it's one thing to think about it. And when you're younger, it's hard not to think about it sometimes. I was a young guy once and a kid once, and I thought about it more than I do now. But, you know, I was in this little box of religion that told me what I was thinking was going to send me to hell. And I felt so guilty. Oh, shit. I met with this group once when I was a Christian. I met with these men. And it was this, you know, this guys get together and talk about stuff group. It was sponsored by this friend of mine who was a counselor. And we would sit around and these guys would talk about, oh, I have such a hard time with porno pictures. Oh, God, deliver me. You know, there's this guy. And the other guy, another guy sitting there, I just can't, you know, I want not to think that, but it just pops in my head. Oh. And it was so guilty. That's stupid. You know, every guy has a brain, and he sees a pretty girl, and he goes, eh. And the thought passes through his head, and then it's gone. Unless he obsesses over it. And that's where the problem is. That's where porno comes in. That's where the bad shit comes in. Obsessing over it. If when you see an attractive woman of legal age, and you say, you know, that's a pretty girl, and your mind kind of undresses her. I don't know, do women do that? Some do, I think. The other way around, I think. Of course, unless you're lesbian or gay, you might, whatever, but I don't know. But, you know, you do that. You see a person you think is attractive, and you might disrobe them in your mind for a second. It's a fleeting thought. It's normal. It's not anything to worry about. Sure as hell nothing to feel so guilty about. But if you stay with that thought and you carry that thought along with you all day, and the only thing you can think about is boning that chick, you are obsessed. And that's sad. And exposing this shit to kids creates that kind of mind. It goes from being sexy, taking, you know, glancing at the Texans cheerleaders and saying, that's nice. Most of those don't send me. Bimbos don't send me. But, you know, or making it into something vulgar. My mother used to say, that's vulgar. But vulgar is when you don't just see something that's nice and appreciate it and have a thought in your head. It's when all of a sudden you and that person is in, you know, creating that porno movie. That's vulgar. Sorry. And then there's demeaning and complimentary. Women want to look pretty. Some women are prettier than others. I happen to think the vast majority of women are pretty. And when I think that, and when I think of an attractive woman being sexual, sexy, that's complimentary. You know, I mean, feminists think it's sexist, but it's not. It's complimentary. You know, it's like saying you're pretty. You're attractive. If the first thing a guy does is go to a crotch or a set of boobs and don't even look at the face, then that does get sexist. But just to see a woman and say she's attractive, even sexy, there's nothing wrong with that. But if the one thing you want to do is boom the woman, that's demeaning. Because women and men are not objects, tools, toys for our pleasure. They're not. And it pisses me off when I'm around guys that think that way. And I'm not often around guys, haven't been for a long time, because that kind of talk drives me insane. Women are special. In my mind, women are very special. My wife is very special. She's a human being. She has feelings, and she has thoughts, and she has a mind. Women are people that I find attractive as a person, not as a goddamn sex object. You got that? It's like the difference between sex. It's like the difference between having a candy bar and then porno is having a bucket of it shoved in your face. Being drowned in it. The obsession is being drowned in it. That's terrible. You know what obscenity is? Obscenity is the character or quality of being obscene. I'm reading this. An act, utterance, item to corrupt public morals by its indecency and lewdness. Now, I think the stuff on the internet should be absolutely restricted to where kids can't get to it. Period. End of story. I am for internet censorship when it comes to porno. Absolutely. If you can't find a way to verify that the person watching that perverted bullshit is a grown-up, then it should not be on there. All of you, free internet shit go to screaming and freedom of expression, my ass. That stuff is disgusting. And then we're going to go to somewhere else. We're going to go to music. Now, I can't stand rap music. I can't. It just grates on my nerves. A lot of kids like it. A lot of people like it. And if it's just mainstream rap, just don't play it around me. But rap is so full of pornography. It's so full of obscenity. Far, far more than any other kind of music. Oh yeah, Nickelback, dancing on a dance floor. That's vulgar. That's vulgar. It's, it's kind of a fun thing, and it's a little too vulgar, probably. But that ain't what I'm talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. Listen to this.
Put it in my mouth. She said put it in her mouth. Yeah. I mean her motherfucking mouth. She said put it in her mouth.
How can you stand that shit? That's disgusting. That's audio porno. Here's another one. This is worse.
Your tongue in the crack of my ass, just I need a nigga going out like that. Boy, I'm packing such a tasty treat, and you can eat.
Did you get the symbolism right there? The crack. Damn. That's obscene. That's disgusting. That should be illegal and inaccessible to children. And what was that? Something popped on there. Never mind. There was, I used to have a daughter who was really messed up. Mentioned every once in a while. The music she listened to was rap, and I didn't never listen to that stuff because I can't handle it. And then, I got an earful of some of the shit that she was listening to. And it wasn't the kind of stuff they play on network TV. It was the stuff I just played. Porno. Now, this was a kid who was obsessed with sexuality. He was completely obsessed with it, who I could not keep in the room by nailing plywood over the window. Long story, bad story, ugly story. She's gone. Sad. Sex can easily become an obsession with a kid. And not just through porno pictures and video, music. Here's two more for you. Check this one out.
I get hard after seeing you. How hard like a rock. You make that pussy pop.
And yeah, I'm gonna torture your ears one more time. Here you go.
Don't stop. I like the way you lift the champagne glass. It makes me want to stick my dick in your ass. So come on, baby, and pop it quick. I'll fall in love when you suck my dick.
I'm telling you, it was really hard for me to even actually record that stuff. It was. That made me sick. It did. Let me tell you something. I keep saying that too. Let me tell you something. I'm telling you something, brothers and sisters. Just because a person does not have a particular religious point of view, just because he's not Christian or Muslim or even Buddhist, just because a person doesn't have a religion at all, like me, I have no religion. You can put the A word beside my name if you want to. My wife's uncle says I have sold my soul to the devil. Of course, you got to believe in the devil, but then I sure wish I'd have got the money. That's a joke. But there is a morality. I say that. There's a morality that comes from in here for being a human being. It's the right thing and the wrong thing. It's what's good and what's bad. What is the definition of sorry, lost myself. What's the definition of morality? It's conformity to rules of right conduct, moral or virtuous conduct. That's what morality is. It's not following some religious tenet. It's not some Big 10 and little 5,727,000 in some book that was written by a whole bunch of who knows who the hell they were back, 1,500 years ago. No, it is conformity to rules of right conduct, moral or virtuous conduct. Right conduct would be legal conduct. Follow the law, drive the speed limit, respect other people. That's morality. And morality is virtuous conduct. What the hell does that mean? It means moral excellence, goodness, and rightness. It means conformity of one's life and conduct to moral and ethical principles, uprightness and rectitude. And the other definition is a particular moral excellence compared to cardinal virtues, natural virtue, and theological virtue. And I can tell you right now, there is no set of moral standards that include pornography. None. The pornography market is nothing but a money-making market. They abuse men and women. They degrade men and women. They're disgusting, and they promote the kinds of shit in your head that should not be there. So now it's time for me to be Mr. Sunday School teacher. I'm going to read the Bible to you. Are you ready? I'm not kidding. In the book of Philippians in the New Testament, chapter 4, verse 8. Listen to this. It says, "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent and praiseworthy, think about such things." I forget what edition that came out of, and I don't care. But those words, in some form or another, ought to be stuck on everybody's wall everywhere in the world. I don't care whether you have religion or not. Those should be your standards. Whatever is true. Absolutely. That's all I ever talk about sitting on this front porch. What is true? Truth matters more than anything. What is noble? What does that mean? Well, that means what is important and what is hard to define. Noble, isn't it? When you think of noble as a king, what is appropriate? What is proper? And whatever is right. Now, what is your definition of right? Are you a religious person? Well, I probably lost all my religious people by now, but if you're a religious person and you're listening to this, then you do have a term of right. And if you're a Christian, that's it right there, buddy boy. That book. Yes, it is. Whatever is lovely. Lovely. That's kind of a pansy-ass word, isn't it? Oh, that's so lovely. But really, you think about what is pretty, the things that are nice, sunsets and landscapes and yeah, the occasional attractive female or male, if you're so inclined. It's lovely. It's lovely because it's there, it's pretty, you find it attractive, not obsessed, something lovely. Okay? Whatever is excellent or praiseworthy. Excellent is doing your best. Excellent is other people doing their best. And praiseworthy is people who deserve it. And let me tell you something. Pornography is neither excellent, neither praiseworthy, not admirable, not lovely, sure as hell not pure, and in my mind, a long way from right. And I want my kid watching that stuff. If you're a parent, you're an idiot. And I'll say that to your face if you let your kids watch porno. Yes. One last little thing. Christians, if you're still listening, and you are one of these right-wingers that really obsess over abortion, and you believe it is wrong, and then you're going to be a total fucking idiot when it comes to properly teaching children about sex and birth control and the appropriate type of sex and sexuality, then you're an idiot. If that's what you think. If you think you should never mention sex to your kids. If you think your kids, only when you're married, and don't teach your kids how to keep from getting pregnant. Damn, I was a caseworker. 14-year-old girls with 2 kids. That's ridiculous. Why? Because not only did they not teach these kids how to use birth control, they didn't teach them the proper respect for their body, the proper way to recognize when in your heart, mind, and soul it's time. And when to say, I need to wait. There's a lot to it. Not a prude around my house. Have conversations. My kid, they can come to me with anything. Anything at all. I'm not afraid to. They know I'm not going to stick them in a box, tell them they're going to hell. And they respect me for that. And I respect them for having a brain in their head. Knock it off, people. I don't know what to say, except that you're being a fucking idiot if you let your kids watch porno. If you don't teach your kids about sex, about the proper use and practice, about when it's time to say no, and when it's time to say okay, and when it's time to say that's bad and that's good, and when it's time to recognize that you're not thinking of another person as a person, but as a goddamn sex object. You need to teach them all that stuff. And if you don't, you're going to fuck your kids up. And we don't need any more fucked up kids. So listen to me. Alright?